Hello, hello. My name is Oля. This is
Lisa.
And I'm Marco from Italy.
This is a Folk Talk podcast. We are here on the Erasmus in Philadelphia, and what we are discovering, Marco?
Basically, we will listen to other guys that are our colleagues in this project, and they will talk about different topics and what we gained about this project. In Philadelphia, in a random city in Italy, in the region of Calabria.
We will do
Okay.
like a clap to sing the.
No, bro.
Audio.
We already started. I actually have an idea. What if we'll be asking you questions and because you both of you are yappers,
Yeah.
you'll be yapping and yapping
Yes.
and yapping. I'll be
Yes.
how to say
Oh, how I love yapping.
I'll be navigating your conversation.
Okay.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah,
Great.
that's fine.
Right.
That's
So we need to come up with a set of questions,
So
right?
you can narrow it down.
I mean, I know what I want to say.
Me
like,
too.
Okay. Then.
should I start?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to share my experience with religion because I think religion contains a lot of myths and stories and legends. I was born in a Christian Orthodox family and was never asked if I wanted to be Christian. It was considered good and it was just passed down to me. And while I was young, I didn't rebel much, but as puberty started to hit, I didn't see the point in turning the other cheek, as they say, and got away from it. I thought it was all made up stories and saw no use in it. Discovered other philosophies, more selfish philosophies, and thought they were better. Until practicing them turned back on me, and I started to explore Christianity again and to try to really understand the stories in the Bibles, and found out that it didn't matter if they were true or not. The thing that mattered was the lessons they were trying to teach us, which were lessons not just about us interacting with the world, but lessons about us interacting with ourselves, about us using these instruments we call our bodies, which are the most complicated thing in this existence, I'd assume. And I realized how difficult it was and how much help we actually need to use them properly. So,
Yeah, I do agree. I also wrote down religion as one of the things that I wanted to talk about most. I was born in a Muslim family. We weren't very we never were very great practitioners of the religion, but we did everything we had to do. We fasted during Ramadan. We had our 5 daily prayers. I didn't do all of them, of course. I spent many years, I think around 7 years, in Mekteb. It's a school for young Muslims. I was there from the age of 3 until around 10. So I spent a lot of time there. I was very involved in all the teachings of Islam, and that really limited me in many ways because I am someone who believes everything that they hear immediately, and I am open to questioning it and to changing it as soon as something else presents itself to me. But nothing else was there for me except for Islam, and I believed 100% that everything that was written there was the truth, and that turned into sort of this obsessive thinking and complete belief in the stories that the Quran said, and I thought that I was definitely going to hell if I didn't follow every single rule. It was very difficult, very limiting. It made me very sad. And then during COVID-19, it was the first time in my life where I really had the time to sit down and think a bit about things, and I was just feeling very sad about everything that was happening. There was just so much pain in the world and so much sadness, and it really made me reconsider some things. And I started to think, well, if this God truly exists, then he is way too cruel, and I would not want to accept someone like that as my God. And it was a very scary thing to do because in our religion we are taught constantly that you cannot question God, you cannot question his existence, you just need to accept who he is. And it always seemed odd to me that they gave these human-like, man-like qualities to God. I don't believe that God is someone who has these qualities, that he forgives, he hates, he loves. I don't think that he can be like a man. I think I read somewhere it's the demiurge. That's how it's described. It's a god with an ego, and I do not think that that's correct. So I just completely rejected that. I still have some fear in me. It's because it's something that's been instilled in me. I feel like if I do something, okay, I can't say that God is bad explicitly because I fear He will crush me with His thunder or something. But I'm more progressive. I like to think that I'm way more open. I'm not an atheist. I'm agnostic because I believe that the human mind cannot prove the existence nor the non-existence of a God. The human mind cannot grasp it in any way. And I think that it is selfish to say that God exists and that He doesn't exist at all.
Just to really after that, my understanding of God, like for a while, I also thought like they did describe it as like something or someone above us, but it was Jewish mysticism, especially the Kabbalah, that brought me understanding. Like we cannot perceive the idea of God, but the closest thing to God we can perceive is light, and it's like light is the most unlimited form of energy for us, and I think like even in physics it was a difficult thing to understand. We are still understanding it, especially with the numbers we think are constants but are actually variables, and we just happen to live in a time where those constants move very slowly. But that's still my take on it. Maybe Arlan can say something about his understanding of it.
Well, actually, I was quite shocked. Okay, not shocked, but surprised to hear Aman's story because it's actually like almost 100% like mine. Actually, I was like attending like the Muslim school in the mosque, like I guess like 5-7 years in a row. Every my summer I spent in the mosque. I was reading Quran in Arabic. I know how to read in Arabic still. I do remember it. Actually, my father, he wanted me to be Hafiz. This is a person who knows Quran like from every letter, every word, like word by word. He can like just recite it anytime you want to. I also was like actually praying 5 times a day. I was fasting. I was like, I was completely Muslim, and yeah, I truly believe because like this is what my father was teaching me. Islam is right. Islam is true. But like I was a really curious kid, and like I used to read a lot about mythologies, about space, about medicine, biology, I really loved physics. And when I started questioning like our universe, our life, and of course the first person who I was coming with questions was my Ostaz, it was my teacher in mosque, and he just couldn't answer my questions properly. I really started, how to say, I started doubting all the things they taught me. And as the man said, you're never allowed to question God. You're never allowed to question all the things that Quran says. Like, and sometimes Quran has really, let's say, unrealistic stories. For example, where birds were like throwing stones on unfaithful people. I don't know if you remember this one, Iman, but it was like I was asking my teacher like, was it true? Like real like birds were throwing stones on people who made certain sins, and he's like, yes, birds were throwing stones. Like it cannot be real. No, and you're not allowed to think differently. You just have to believe.
They never introduced like the concept of allegories to you guys?
I mean, of course, of course, we were introduced, but like everything.
Or was this like when you were
yeah,
younger and
yeah.
they didn't think you could grasp it, and they were like just writing you away as children, like saying, "Ah, you're too
No,
young."
this also had a place, but like you never the thing is just you were never allowed to question anything. Like everything that was written is true completely 100%. And I don't know.
I think the main thing in Islam about the allegories and the stories is that many people interpret the Quran differently. There are all these, I don't know how they call it, but like variations on the understanding of Quran and the stories. And people, that's why you have so many denominations of Islam, because everyone understands it differently. And that it's that way with every Abrahamic religion and every other religion in general. You just have people who read a story and they understand it completely, and completely in the way where they don't really question the allegory. They just read the story, they see that the birds will throw stones, and they are convinced that that actual birds will throw stones. And those are people that are sort of a bit closed off, and they don't allow interpretation, and they limit their lives so much. And I've met many people in my life, many people who are my close friends, my family, who are just so limited because of religion. They don't experience the world in the capacity in which they would, in which they could if they wanted to. Because I remember the first time when I said I don't believe in God, it was the scariest thing I ever did in my life, because it's so forbidden, it's so evil.
I still cannot admit.
Yes.
I still cannot confess to my dad that I don't believe in God.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
like my father thinks that I'm a Muslim. He thinks I believe in God, I worship Him, and etc. etc. But I'm still hiding from him because I'm just not able to do it.
Yeah, I had to introduce my mom gradually to it. I was explaining to her how I sort of did
Yes.
it gradually. I didn't say to her,
Exactly.
I don't believe in God completely. I first turned to Sufism. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I enjoy this mystic part of Islam. I enjoy the allegoric interpretations, how God is the light in the candle, and you are the butterfly that floats around the candle, and if you get too close to God, you can burn from the love that you feel for God. And that's how I introduced her gradually to it. But I believe that at that moment, exact moment when I said I don't believe in God, it was probably the bravest thing I ever did. And now when I look back at it, and when I see people, of course everyone has their own choice and I respect it fully. But when I talk to people who are very religious and closed off to any other possibility that God may not exist, and that they are just so full of fear, I see that they are inside of this box and they just can't get out. And I've gotten out of the box, and I can just see them in there, and I cannot help them because I cannot take them out of there if they don't want to. They need to want to come out, because you're on the outside and you're just looking at them inside, and they can't see a way out.
Yeah,
But
and
when
even
you get
trying
out,
to pull them could even hurt them.
yes,
sometimes.
yes, absolutely. And they could think that you want to hurt them, that you mean bad, that you want to take them to hell. No, I'm just trying to tell you that you can just think on your own. I'm not telling you read this book, read that book. Just think, sit down and think. You don't need anything else.
What I would tell them is I think it comes from Gnosticism, is like believe in your own experience,
Yes,
because this life, I think, is given to us as a lesson. It's some people take it as something to use for pleasure, but I think I get pleasure in learning, so
yes,
maybe. But that's why I love Gnosticism, because it tells you, like, don't believe anything but the things you experience, like the emotions and like how you understand stuff, and everyone with their own pace is eventually gonna raise their level of understanding if they just keep at it and don't give up, which is not easy. It's pretty difficult, and it's pretty rare for people to succeed, but I think it is the best way we can help, like,
Yeah.
just
if you only
give them
want,
confidence
yes.
in themselves, in their power of judgment, and with that confidence, maybe they're gonna go in a bad way, be evil, but then the pendulum's gonna swing back, and they're gonna feel guilt for being bad,
Yes.
and that guilt's gonna push them in a better direction, and maybe they'll do even more good than the bad they did.
Yes,
So-
guilt is a big topic in religion. I don't know if Arlan, you experienced guilt, because we have a similar upbringing, so maybe you
Excuse
had
me.
experienced.
Say it again.
Is it Arlan?
No, what did you say
No.
like before?
Guilt.
Guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I did. Yeah. I mean, it's the beginning. I was really afraid, as I even like started getting this thoughts like, oh, maybe God doesn't exist. Maybe everything of this is not true. But like, I was told that God, he can hear anything. He can hear everything. He
Yes.
knows everything, and he like even knows your thoughts. And oh my God, I'm gonna get punished. I'm gonna go to hell, even for those thoughts. But then I started challenging God. For example, I don't want to say what I did, but like I started doing
Are you scared to say?
haram things, like which is like not
Yeah,
allowed in Islam, and I was waiting for my punishment. I was like, I was waiting like, oh,
Yeah,
what is
okay.
my punishment? Like,
When is the thunder gonna
yeah,
strike you?
eventually I didn't get punished, and I was like, oh, so maybe like there is a, like a hole in the whole
I
system,
think
you
we
know.
punish ourselves. Like I think our punishment is how we decide to punish ourselves.
Hmm.
And
But like, excuse me. Actually, I want to ask like about Aman. So you're agnostic, right? What is
Yes,
what is
agnostic.
agnosticism for you? Like
wait, agnostic or
agnostic, yeah.
Agnostic. Well, the definition that I am familiar with is that the human mind cannot comprehend neither the existence nor existence of God. Neither the what does it? Neither the that the God doesn't exist or that He exists. So I am somewhere in between an atheist and a theist. So I believe that I cannot prove anything. Therefore, I cannot firmly say, okay, this is the truth and you all should follow it, you all should believe it. I do not know. I do not have the capacity to know. If one day I do reach the capacity to know, if I have experience that you said, for that agnosticism says that you need to have direct experience, then I can confidently say, okay, this is what I experienced and this is what I believe firmly. But there is no one truth that I believe in. There's only the trying to be as good as I can, to help others as much as I can, and to have a moral code that does not depend on religion. I do not need to be religious in order
To be a good person.
To be a good
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
Yes. So no one way for me. It's just everything all at once.
Okay, so hello everyone. Today we are here at podcast with Lydia, with Alex, and my name is Lara. So today
Welcome,
we're going
everybody.
to talk about culture, mythology, and should we begin? So let's start with religion. What do you think about religion? Are you like religious people? Do you believe in God?
Well, in my country, we are Christians, and we used to believe in Jesus Christ, you know? Orthodox, yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was young, I used to believe in God, but some things happened to my life when I was like 12 or 13 years old that make me, you know, try to search about if God actually exists, or it's just a thing that people made to feel safe, or yeah, mostly to feel safe when they are alone
Find
and
something
in hard times. Yeah.
research, yes. I completely agree.
Yes, but that is one of the main points of the religion.
Yes, but
Yeah.
this is one of the main points of the religions. They were invented, or
Comforting.
figuratively speaking, for comforting people
Yeah.
in difficulties, in sad times. They were invented to so people can
I
take
think
something
it's supposed
for
to be like they're finding some star,
don't
some
know.
light that they want to follow. And I'm for example
Yes,
religious and I believe
absolutely,
in God,
in the middle
and
of nowhere.
I support everything that Christian is learning me. I'm just always trying to be thankful for for who am I today, and I'm just trying to be thankful to God because I have this opportunity to be here with everyone, with these beautiful people here. So that's why I believe in God, because in my life I had also many
Absolutely.
situations where I truly realized that God really exists. But I don't know, have you experienced any situation like that? Yes. Would you like to share?
In my
Yes.
deepest
Yes.
despair,
In my deepest moments of despair, when I was at the biggest loss that you can imagine one parent can experience, I didn't felt alone, because I was always thinking that God is supporting me somehow. And the interesting part was my friends who were also with me in that sad moment. They were angry at God because
He let something bad happen at you.
most
I wasn't.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
I wasn't there.
But I wasn't.
Something that
I wasn't, and it was
maybe
something that
comfort them also.
I don't know, that maybe
I think that
comfort them also.
I believe
Because
also.
I think that everything happens for a reason. That we all, yes, that we all have our time here. That we all have some kind of mission. And if you finished your mission earlier, you will go. So it's God's decision, maybe, but I don't know. It was a comforting thing for me. I'm not a believer by the book. I don't believe. I changed many rules in my ways of believing, but I believe in
Yeah, I know what you mean.
some
I
kind
get
of
it.
source,
of everything.
of some kind of creator of everything.
Yes, I also
And
believe in faith because, and I believe that
that's
everything
my-
is, for example,
that's my
written
saying.
for me already. So I just live my life. Maybe I can make some decisions that can be different and I can make some turns in my path, but the end will be for me the same. That's how I think. So, what about you, Alex? Why don't you believe in God?
Well, I don't really believe that he is actually somewhere and he takes care of me and creates a path for me. I believe that my actions do create, let's say, the future. My choices will interrupt with the future. I mean, everything that you do, you will find it in your path, some way or another. Um, well, I don't feel like I need the strength that God gives to some people, to people who believe in Him. Just if I have a bad day, I just get over it by myself. I don't like.
You don't need like.
I don't need to pray or. Yeah. Mhm. I mean,
yes.
I don't have a problem with people believing in God. I don't like it when a believer comes to me and he says to me like, "Oh, you should believe because that, this and that."
No, the true
I mean,
believers
You
never.
need to
I've
believe
read
that
about.
your heart in your
The
soul
ones
that
that believe.
that you're part of something, that you're part of that culture of that religion. So if you don't feel like that, then it's not the right thing to do. You need to be free to feel safe and just, you need to feel something in
Yeah.
your heart. So you just do that.
A few weeks ago, I read a book about Christianity, and it was written inside that a person who believes he should try to make an atheist believe in God just to put him in the right path. I'm okay with that, but I don't like it when someone gets he's too pushing. Yeah, I mean. Come on, I
He's
need.
too pushy.
I don't. Yeah,
It's your
Yeah.
space, it's your choice.
Yeah,
it's your
exactly.
life, I completely agree.
Absolutely.
So,
We all have freedom to believe in what
Yeah.
we want.
Real.
absolutely.
We all have freedom to
I mean,
believe in what
there
we
was one
want
situation in my
and
life
who we
where
want.
I truly believed in God. It was like, let's say, a sign. So I got one bracelet from my mother with cross, and I really adored the bracelet. So one time when I was coming back from school, I accidentally lost it, but I lost it in near my house. So when I got home, 1 or 2 days passed, and I was looking for the bracelet, and I was like so sad. Where did I put? And my dad came back from work, and he was like, "I found this bracelet with cross. If it's not yours, then I will just give it. I will just put it away for someone to find it." And I was like, "That's my bracelet. You found
that's
it."
so nice.
So that's why I believe in God, and that's just one small story that it's for me very, let's say, precious because it's a small thing that can it's like sign basically. You see that what's yours will find you, and So that's my story.
For me, it is comforting going to church and listening
For
to
me,
the music.
for me, it is comforting going to church and listening to the music. I love to go to churches that are not crowded,
And I
that
will
are
sit there and
completely
listen to the music.
almost empty,
Yes, and
Sorry.
and I will sit there and listen to the music.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know that silence. That it doesn't matter if the
You feel
church is
peace
Orthodox
inside
or Catholic or doesn't matter.
That's the beauty
yes,
of religion
I feel
for me.
somehow calmness.
I had a professor back in high school that he was a really religious person, and he told me that God has given like a user manual for everyone to follow, just to be a good person in his life. Well, this when you hear it, it does make sense, but. You know, if someone wants to do something good, he doesn't need God to do it. I mean, many atheists have done great things, and they have worked for the community, done great things, helped people, orphan children.
But you know, sometimes God is teaching you to do the right thing, to do the.
I mean, yeah, of course,
it's like
of course.
part of the
Main teaching is that.
Yes. Do
We
good.
as people
Yeah.
The main teaching is that, but we as people interpret everything
we can see
on our own way. We see this flower is yellow. You can see it as black. You can see it as red. So we
Yeah,
we are
yeah, yeah,
seeing the
exactly.
same thing, but
That's also with
different.
And also, I
eyes.
can realize that a lot of, let's say,
So-
traditions are like connected with religion.
I
Yeah.
don't like I don't like all the traditions in
I don't like
No, I can-
I don't like all the traditions in our country connected to religion. So
That's why
I think that
some source in God.
that's why I believe in some source in God, in whatever you call it, but I don't prefer
Things
doing those things that we all supposed to do, like I don't know, going on.
when we
I don't know, some stupid for me when we go to
Yeah,
weddings
yeah.
we have to do that. When we go to funerals, you have to do
Yes,
this.
but there are some rules, let's
That
say,
is-
that are really interesting and that can be really heartwarming.
yes,
So,
they can, but I think that they
Yes, they can, but I think they also they
change.
yes.
they should evolve.
Passes
They should change as time passes, as everything changes. They should change. We don't have to do something that is
I mean, yes, it makes sense.
outdated.
So, yeah, this was a great conversation.
It's about religion.
Yeah,
A very sensitive.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
It's a lot about
Yeah.
a very sensitive topic.
But you know, we don't have to be angry about our choices. Yeah,
We're just believing in what we want.
No,
Of course,
no,
yeah.
no. We're not.
You know,
We're just
respect
believing
everybody.
what we
Of course,
want.
respect everyone.
We shouldn't judge on their beliefs or so. I mean, yeah,
Absolutely. No. Everybody should do what calms him, what
So,
gives him comfort.
Thank you so much
Sure.
for.
It was nice.
Okay.
I enjoyed
Thank you.
talking to you and doing this podcast.
It was nice
Thank
speaking.
you.
bye everybody.
Bye.
We hope that this project was interesting.
Inspiring.
And useful for your future.
Bye bye.